Hello, my name is Margie Darling. I want to thank you for watching my page, watching me on YouTube. I just want to thank you and ask you to subscribe to my page if you haven't already, and share the videos. Like it and share the videos. Like it and share the videos. So today I'm going to be talking about my mother. My mother's name is Lucille Vereen, and she is from South Carolina. She was born to Janie Gagem and Andrew Mack. And so I think I said that right. I said my grandmother's last name, Gagem. Yeah, her last name is Gagem. So I thank God for my mother. I thank God for her life and all the things that she has been through. You know, as a little girl, she was in school and she had to quit school when she was in 6th grade so that she can help her mother with the children, because she was the oldest daughter. She was the oldest, I don't know if she was the oldest child, but she was the oldest daughter. And she had to quit school in 6th grade so that she could help her mother take care of the kids and take care of the house and take care of different things that had to be done in the house. And so she helped her mom out. She helped her mom out as a young girl. And then one day, my grandfather got sick. My great-grandfather. It's my great-grandfather because it was her grandfather. My great-grandfather got sick, and my grandmother, let me get this thing right now. My grandmother sent my mother to help take care of my great-grandfather because she couldn't go at the time. At the time when he was sick, my grandmother and her sisters was taking turns going to take care of my great-grandfather. And when it got time for my grandmother to go, my grandmother couldn't go that day. So she sent my mother. And my mother was 15 at the time. And so when my mother went at that time, my grandfather, he was married to a lady named Miss Lily. She was not my grandmother's mother. She was another woman. And so my grandmother knew this woman, but didn't know the things that she was doing. And so when my mother got to Miss Lily's house to help take care of her grandfather, my mother said that that evening she went there, she helped her, she did everything she could do for my grandfather. And then that night Miss Lily had baked some bread and she needed to get it over to one of the neighbors. And the neighbor didn't live that close to her, but was considered a neighbor. So she had to walk some ways to go take this bread to the neighbor. And at this time, you know, my mother said Miss Lily had a lot of men living in her house, and she didn't know that these men were renting out space in the house. And plus these men were in the house and they were able to bring in women as prostitutes so that they could make money, and that some of that money would go to Miss Lily. And so my mother said it was getting dark, and she was like, can you go and take this bread to the lady, my neighbor? And my mother was like, okay, I'll take it in the morning. And she said, no, I needed to get to her tonight. The bread is fresh and I needed to go to her tonight. So my mother said, okay, I'll take it. And then there was a guy that my mother knew of, and then Miss Lily knew, and she told that guy. The guy was like, I'll go walk with her. And my mother was like, no, I can go walk by myself and take the bread. I'll go walk. And Miss Lily was like, go ahead, walk with her so that nothing don't happen to her. And so my mother said she didn't want this man to walk with her because the man had already been looking at her, already already been saying that he liked her and stuff, and she was only 15 years old, and this was a grown man. She said he was well in his 30s or 40s, and so she don't even know if he had a wife or whatever. So the man walked her to the neighbor's house, and they walked. It was a long ways that they walked, and my mother said after they dropped off the bread, and when they began to walk back from the lady's house, the guy started talking about how much he liked her, and my mother was like, I don't like you. And he was like, well, you know, you're pretty, and you know, we could have a relationship and stuff together. And my mother was like, no, I don't want a relationship with you, I don't like you or anything like that. And my mother began to walk fast and start telling him that she don't like him. And so she said, he was like, you know, I like you, Lucille. I really, really like you a lot. I really like you a lot. And my mother she was very adamant about, I don't like you. I don't want you. I am a little girl. I am not even, you know, your age. You are 40 years old or whatever the age he was. And she was like, please just leave me alone. Let me go back to the house. And she said, when she said that, he grabbed her, he picked her up, and he carried her into the woods, and he raped her. He raped her. She said she was screaming, stop. She was saying, stop, stop, stop. And he just raped her. He just took her virginity away from her, just raped her, and just got up like it was nothing, like he never did anything. And then he told her, you better not tell anybody. And so when she got back to the house, she was devastated. She was just, you know, she didn't know what to think. She just was penetrated by this man, this man that she didn't even barely know, and didn't even know if he had a disease. She didn't know anything. And so when she told Miss Lily told her she better not say anything either. And then she got scared because she thought, if I tell my mother has a gun and my mother's going to shoot him, because my grandmother carried a gun back in those days. And she was saying that my grandmother was going to shoot him. And so she didn't tell my grandmother. She didn't tell my grandmother what happened. And so the next day she went home. She went home, and she was just feeling bad. She was feeling sad, and she was feeling like, oh my God, you know, I don't know what to think. This man did this to me. She had to go through that rape all by herself because she was afraid to tell her mother. And she was afraid, you know, that her mother wouldn't believe her. And you know what? It turned out her mother did not believe her. She started getting sick. She started throwing up, and my grandmother said to her, "What is wrong with you? Why are you throwing up? What's going on with you? You know?" And then she took her to the doctor, and the doctor told my grandmother that she was pregnant. Wow, she was pregnant by a man who raped her. She was pregnant by a man who raped her. And so my grandmother was like, what did you do? What did you do? And my mother said, Mama, I got raped. I got raped. When you sent me to Papa house, I got raped. And I told Miss Lily, and she told me not to tell you. The man told me not to tell you. Everybody was saying don't tell you. And she said, I didn't want to tell you. And my mother said, I didn't want to tell you because I thought you was going to kill the man. But I didn't know they was telling me not to tell you because they didn't want to be in trouble. Because I was only 15 and I wasn't in my right mind. But I was raped. And my mother said, my grandmother said, you probably wasn't raped. You're fast behind out there messing around with men. And she said immediately my grandmother started blaming her. She started blaming her. So now not only she lost her virginity, she got raped, and now she's being accused. She's being accused of sleeping around with a man that raped her. And so my grandmother just went and started saying, well, we can't keep that baby. I can't feed that baby. I can't even feed a baby right now. I can't even hardly feed y'all. And you're gonna go out there and get pregnant and you know. And my mother was feeling so bad, you know, that, oh God, I got a baby in me, and I got to buy a man that I hate, that I don't even want in my life. And, you know, And my grandmother said, well, we got to figure out how to give this baby away. And that is the beginning of the book. And I'll come back on and I'll say some more of the story. But this is chapter 1 of that book. Thank you for listening. Subscribe to my page and like it. God bless.